All right. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to Grace and Gossip. I am back. I am back in Atlanta from South Carolina. And you guys, if you watched this weekend, I was out in South Carolina. It was hot. Um, it was not what I expected. Okay. I learned a lesson. Um, I learned a lesson. Um, I learned a lesson and I'm sorry. Um, Learned a lesson and I am not a country person. I told you guys I like horses. I like certain aspects of the country. Maybe I just don't like the country when it's 102 degrees because it was 102 degrees pretty much the entire weekend. It was absolutely crazy. But for those of you that watched on Saturday, I appreciate you being patient, but it will not happen again. It will not happen again. I actually did that broadcast from the truck um, in the heat. So I have never done a broadcast without makeup, without anything, without lights. Like it was wild, but I did it because I really wanted you guys to know I appreciate you. And I hope that those of you that watch this channel on a regular basis, I hope that you get some laughter. I hope you get inspiration. I hope it's a positive experience for you. That is why I do this channel. Trust me, my life is not always in a happy place. Nobody's is, but I feel like if I can come on here and I can, share some positivity and we can laugh and we can basically, it's an opportunity to reset and get yourself on, just change your perspective from anything that you may be dealing with. So that being said, I'm going to get into Grace and Gossip. Yes, this is Grace and Gossip where we talk a little bit of gossip, but we do it with grace. And we do it from a perspective that is positive for the most part. Now, we're still going to give tea, right? And we're still going to talk about the things that we need to talk about. But I try to do it with a way that is, a little more gracious, than some channels. So I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you are in the chat, where you're watching from. And we're going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. The final part 3 of the reunion aired on Sunday, which was last night. And of course, I want to get into that. And then also, right before the reunion aired, there was some chatter happening online about upcoming season 17. And I want to talk about that as well. You guys have to bear with me. I came in today it's hot here. I think we're having heat waves all over the country. Because I came back from South Carolina to Atlanta and it's 100 degrees today. So I got in just recently and right before this broadcast. And so I am still coming down from the heat. Hey, you there. What's up, girl? 3 parts. Yes, 3 parts to the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. Do I think they drag it out unnecessarily? Absolutely. But it's all, it's ratings for Bravo. And in my opinion, they usually keep the most, the highlights until the final episode. So it's almost like you can skip the first 2, or at least the first one, and then the second 2 are usually going to be the more heavy hitters. They don't do very much in the first one. I talked earlier this couple months, well, actually last month, about the way the women were dressed. I actually think I gave Porsha my favorite dress for the reunion, but I think I actually should have given it to Shamea. I think Shamea was my number 2 and Porsha was my number 1. But after watching the reunion and watching all 3 episodes, I gotta say, I think that Shamea's was just so much more classy. Portia's, it was too much. It was too much. So I'm gonna actually switch those dresses out. I'm gonna say that Porsha is number 2 and Shamea was number 1 because her dress was beautiful. It was form fitting, but it was classy. And Portia's was just a little bit, when she got up, it was a little bit much. Hey, you there says, I'm definitely going to continue contributing to global warming with my air conditioner boom and grow. We don't have no choice. We have no choice. And that's what I meant. I meant we don't have no choice. Double negative all the way through. It is too hot. Like literally, when I was in South Carolina, I was down there because it was Big Bird, big whoever had the feathers kind of looked Big Birdish, and that was Drew. And I said that, and I think a few people said I was being mean, but no, the feathers were not feathering. It looked like I didn't like what Drew had on, which was the feathers, and I didn't like the headpiece that Phaedra had on. It did not give. And Phaedra usually, I think she usually is more of a hit. This was a miss, but it's weird because I know one of the places that she gets most of her stuff from, the Ivy Showroom here in Atlanta. Shouts out to Miss Connie, and she usually looks great. But, or at least, she's theatrical. So she usually has a lot of pomp and circumstance that looks right. But that headpiece with the Rapunzel, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And actually, I will say, I know Phaedra was only on the show for 2 weeks, but we didn't really get much from Phaedra this season. I think that she was playing it safe, but being messy. She's messy, but trying not to appear messy because, I think she's trying to keep her peach. And so I don't know. It's just Phaedra, if she wants to be messy, she does better on Traders and stuff like that. I didn't enjoy her, this season, even though I know Porsha was happy to have her freaking frack back. I did not enjoy. But let's get into the reunion last night, the third part of the reunion. They brought the guys on. Hey You There mentioned the feathers, and I mentioned that was Drew. So that was one of the main points to me in this third part, was that Drew, she had a chance to clear up the rumors with about her and Dennis. According to Porsha, Dennis told her that Drew hit on him, and according to Ralph, Drew told him that Dennis hit on her. So it's giving the exes are trying to throw shade at the people, and Ralph is a liar. I think that he loves to come on television. He loves being on TV, but I don't believe Ralph. I don't believe that Dennis was trying to holler at. Well, let me not say that. Dennis might have been trying to holler at Drew. Okay, Drew is a pretty girl. Dennis might have been trying to holler at her, but I think Ralph said that because he likes to throw shade and he wants to stay on the show. And the reality is, when he and Drew, this guy, I'm still getting used to the hair. When this divorce is final and he moves out of the basement, I don't see why he would even be relevant to the show. I do not see why. They showed a clip of Drew and Ralph cooking together. And it kind of made me sad for a minute, because I think Drew, a lot of people don't know this, but Drew, I don't know if you guys know or not, Drew played T-Boz in the Crazy Sexy Cool TLC movie. For those of you that watch the channel, you know that I represent TLC. And so I had a chance to meet Drew actually through her sister, Allison. Our agency actually did some PR work for her. She was on another show. It was not a reality show. It was a scripted series that was on VH1 for a short period of time. And so I got a chance to kind of work that project before. This was way before she came to Housewives. And it was really when she and, I'm sorry, the dogs are barking. It was really when she and Ralph first got married, because I remember we had her plan to do some type of press, and Allison tells us that Drew just got married. It was like a secret wedding. And anyway, she couldn't do the appearance because they had taken off, and they were just, they were head over heels in love. But it's crazy to me how people can go from being in love to being, at each other's throats. It's just, they say there's a thin line between love and hate. And there is. And I think that people don't take it seriously. That's my personal opinion. People don't take marriage seriously. People don't take love seriously. We are all living in a very narcissistic society, to where people use each other for their own good. And then if a person is not doing exactly what they want, they're willing to give up. And I'm not exactly sure what started the problems with Drew and Ralph, but we do know that as far as I'm concerned, they both had infidelity issues, because if you're flirting with a girl and you're having flirty conversations with her, that's wrong, right? That's infidelity. It may not be infidel. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am so sorry. Dogs are barking. Mom is calling me. I am trying to hold it down. It is not easy over in these parts. Hey, I'm on live, Mom. Is everything okay?
Okay. I didn't know you were home. They were barking. I was getting ready to go up.
Yeah, I'm home. Just they're outside, so they're barking. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Okay. Y'all just get. Hey, I'm in the country one day. My mom was calling the other day. The dogs are barking. I need a soundproof studio, but for right now, we don't have that. So anyway, yeah, I didn't. Yes, Hey You There says I didn't realize Drew goes all the way back to That's So Raven. She was Eddie's girlfriend. Yeah, Drew has been an actress for a long time, and sometimes I hate when people that are actually talented and doing other things come into the reality space, because it can make people actually like trivialize their talent. Because I do think Drew is very talented. I appreciated the way she embodied T-Boz for that movie. I think she did a great job. I think the breakout star in that particular movie was Little Mama playing Left Eye, but I do think that Drew did a great job playing T-Boz. Sad to see her and Ralph relationship go from a happy place to we're enemies, and knowing that you have to co-parent, that's got to be difficult. You should never be enemies while you're co-parenting, but unfortunately that is what happens. Staple some foam on the wall like Mo. Huh? Yeah, I mean, but the problem is they're right outside, so he doesn't have dogs, which is probably to his benefit. But yeah, I hate to see that family break apart, and it to be used for entertainment purposes. I don't like that. But we're in it. We know Ralph is gonna try to milk every little piece out of this. Drew allegedly has moved on and is dating a guy named Black who makes hookahs. And she gifted the ladies with some hookahs, which I'm surprised that Bravo let her do that. She must really have a little bit of she must have a little weight on her, because usually they do not. Bravo is funny about you benefiting from anything commercial using that network. They usually don't go for that. So the fact that we didn't get a chance to see the package or anything, but we did hear that it was a hookah and it was from her friend Black, and he wanted to gift the ladies and Andy with I guess electronic hookah. So she's dating. We know Ralph is dating. Drew was caught flirting with a lesbian. Ralph was caught cheating with numerous ladies. Drew actually, I guess, met one of the ladies that he's been interacting with. I didn't care about that. Funny thing is, and I don't have a clip of this. I don't want a clip of this, but the funny thing is, Ralph actually, you guys remember last season, Drew sang a song at the reunion. I think we clowned about that. We laughed. We got a good kiki as a family about it. Drew sang a song to Ralph at the reunion, and it was like about moving on, and that whole thing. She's got a whole album out at this point, talking about moving on. And I shouldn't have been stupid, and da da da. And now Ralph has a song, "Wishing You Well," or something like that. And so he put out that song, I think like right before the reunion. And yeah, I'm glad I don't have a clip. But it is just, they are ridiculous. They are ridiculous. And I hate to see it. I hate it for their children, but hey, it is what it is. They're both going to move on. Ralph is probably going to keep trying to get back on reality TV, because I know he loved being on television. He's a former football player, so he's probably used to a little bit of attention, and he likes that. Yeah, Hey You There said I listened to some of the songs, reminded me of LaToya Luckett's album from a few years ago. It's not a bad album. I've listened to it as well. Drew can sing. I don't know that, and I'll tell you what, I would probably be more inclined to see her as an artist if she wasn't on Housewives. I think that messes it up for me, because it's just too much. It feels like these are all songs that are a part of a storyline, and I don't listen to R&B for that. I like my R&B separate from my reality TV. And LaToya Luckett's album felt very much like a response to her, divorces and how she's, I saw, congratulations to her. She's made it to her first wedding anniversary. Hey, Tina Bree, welcome. Come on in and have a seat. Welcome. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Hey, you there says, Drew should be on Love and Hip Hop. Yeah, she actually doesn't really fit in with the ladies on the Housewives. But I got some tea. We're gonna talk about the new additions to the Housewives and how I am really kind of over Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like it's not getting better. This whole season to me was a flop. But before we go there, let's finish talking about this reunion. So Drew and Ralph, Porsha spent the entire 45 minutes of filming avoiding accountability for anything. Porsha is not going to take accountability for anything at all. She didn't take accountability for the issues with Shamea. And I'm not saying they were all hers, but definitely some of them were. She didn't take any accountability for that. She has taken no accountability for the situation with Simon. She took no accountability for any of her breakdowns in communication with the other ladies on the show. Porsha is an eternal victim. She took basically the entire show, she just avoided that. I mean, she literally said earlier during the season, they didn't talk about that last night, but she said that she should have effed Charles Oakley, who was Angela's husband. You can't say that about someone's husband and not take accountability. And she was like, I was kikiing with my friends. Girl, you don't say things like that. Also, during the reunion, they brought up the fact that Porsha slid into Simon's DMs and Shamea was there with her. She just will not take accountability for the fact that she saw that Simon had all this money and she targeted him. And then it turned out not to be what she thought. And then she filed for divorce. She won't take accountability for it, which makes us kind of over it. Kind of over Porsha. Like, she looks great, but she just doesn't, it's just not, I would love to see her really just own up to your stuff, woman up. She's not going to, though. The season, I thought that, so Dennis was there with her. That's another thing. Why is Dennis there? Why? I know she wanted Dennis to be there. I don't know why. Why is he there? He's Drew's producer and her ex. And we didn't really see Dennis and Porsha co-parenting this season. Bless Pilar. Now, her daughter is adorable, but we didn't see that. There was no reason for Dennis to be on that stage at all. It was Porsha wanting him there so that she had some piece of a storyline outside of her beef with Shamea. It was ridiculous. And then she said that Dennis wasn't dressed like her. Like, she really does feel like he is that old sock that whenever I go out with some people and it doesn't work, he's supposed to be that old faithful there. And he's supposed to, hold her down. And he's stupid because he does it. Well, he probably wants to be on TV too, but it was ridiculous. Charles Oakley was the only husband there. Charles Oakley was there with his wife, Angela. And I got to say this. I don't know if you guys have been watching this and we talk a lot about Angela. And for most of the show, I felt like the way Charles talked to her was very disrespectful. I felt like he really did not show her, respect as his wife. However, when I saw him on the reunion, and then I actually have a friend that it's funny because Charles spent most of his time telling both Phaedra and Porsha that he did not know them personally, that because everybody was like, oh, well, I've spent time with you. And he's like, just because you were around doesn't mean that I know you, which is true. And you got to realize Charles Oakley was a franchise player. He was a huge deal. So he's met a lot of women and he's had a lot of groupies around. So to his point, he probably doesn't remember everyone that's around when he's there, because when he's there, he's the star. And the reality TV is one thing, but that level of athlete is a total different thing. I have a friend that has some great stories about Charles, about him. He obviously was one of the bad boys of the NBA. This very flagrant personality. Um, Definitely, into the women and into partying. Has a lot of stories out there about how hard he used to go, how much of a partier he was. So I'm sure that a lot of the women were around in the same, you know, vicinity, but as far as having a personal interaction with him, Phaedra couldn't prove one. Um, she could not prove one, which is why she probably just shouldn't have said anything about him. She said that, Angela was a secret wife. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, if you don't know me, why would you know who I'm married to? Like, that's Phaedra just being messy. But I got to tell you guys, I really did, after watching that, he just was like, what are y'all talking about? Like, why is everybody focused on me? Where are y'all's husbands? That was hilarious. Hilarious for him to be like, why is all the focus here? Where are y'all's husbands? And Porsha was like, well, I really don't know where my husband is. Funny, but girl, again, you filed divorce and probably try to have him deported. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I think that what I got from Charles is that he's not really a he's still a bad boy. He's always going to be a bad boy. He's not going to be the type of man that gives you these long soliloquies of love and talks. Like, he just, if he's there, he loves you, and that's how he shows up. Now, is he faithful? I would not bet any amount of money on him being faithful. I would not. I'm trying to think. Do I have like a couple of cents around? I would not bet any amount of change that Charles is faithful. I would not. I would not take that bet. I wouldn't care if it was 2 wooden nickels. I would not bet it. I would keep it in my pocket. But I'm sure that Charles knows Carlos. I'm sure, from King's Court. And speaking of King's Court, tonight at 10 o'clock, my review on episode 3. So make sure you hang out with me tonight at 10. If you don't see it at 10, if you can't catch it at 10, come back, catch it later on the replay. But tonight at 10, we do the 3rd episode of King's Court. King's Court needs its own review, and that's what I'm doing. But yeah, make sure you guys tune in for that. I'm sure he knows him. Same type of energy, basketball athlete energy, but franchise player energy. That's it's a total different thing. But Charles had a point. Interestingly enough, Shamea's husband, Gerald, did not show up at all. Andy asked why, and she said it's just not his thing. He was at home with the girls, and she tried to say that like he I actually respect him, because I think a man that wants to be on reality TV, too bad, is something wrong with him. So I actually respect the fact that her husband does not want to do that. He actually has a real job. He owns a HVAC company that has commercial clients, and he cannot afford to be on there looking crazy. He could probably lose clients, or it could affect his business. Most importantly, it may just affect his manhood. How about that? So I appreciate and understand a man saying, I'm not gonna be on there with you and these girls fighting and fussing. That's just not my thing. Kudos to Gerald, but it also makes Shamea look kind of crazy, because she fussing with, I don't understand why she fussing back and forth with Porsha, and she's got a lot going on that she don't necessarily need to be doing that. But I understand she wants to be a star. She wants to be a star, so she's on television to be a star. Overall, I think Porsha definitely did not feel comfortable with Shamea being on the show, because I do think Porsha got comfortable being the queen bee. And then Shamea comes on the show, and the way the producers created this, I knew this was going to happen the very first episode of the show. Shamea is the one that everything is revolving around, right? Shamea is it's almost like the narrator. She's the one that everyone is connecting with when the series first opened this season. So I knew Porsha was going to have a problem with that. They probably knew that as well. They probably did it on purpose to cause dissension in that friendship, and it worked, because Porsha's used to being the pretty one and having, her royal subjects, from her sister to Shamea to her cousin, all kind of in her shadow. But when Shamea stepped out this season, she was no longer in the shadow. And that probably made Porsha feel some kind of way because there's no other way to describe it. The things that she did, the things that she said, her interaction, her energy, it all said, "You supposed to be my shadow. You're not supposed to be in your own light." Um, and Shamea, I don't know that Shamea, she was a friend of the show for a long time. This season was her her coming out party. I can give her another season, but I don't know, man. I think she almost like the fact that she was so upset about Porsha, it's almost like you kind of have like friend of the show energy or friends of Portia's energy because it seemed like when she was in the spotlight herself, she was crying over not being able to be up under Porsha. That's what it felt like to me. You guys let me know what you think. Yeah, I didn't like it. I felt like Shamea didn't really step into it. I feel like with the where she is in her life and what she has going on with her daughters and her the surrogate working on that surrogacy for another child, her daughter having an illness. Like I just think that there was a lot of other things there that she could have been focused on outside of battling back and forth with a friend that's not happy for you, right? And a friend who is a little questionable, and you are taking up for her, taking up for her with the comment with Angela and Charles Oakley, even taking up for her with her actions with Simon, and it's just I understand that's what a friend does, but if your friend is not giving back that same energy, nah. All right, so let's get on. Hey there says, I hate that her haircut ages her. It does. I don't like that haircut. I think that if Shamea had like hold on, let me pull Shamea up. Let's pull up Shamea and Porsha. Here they are. See, I don't like it. It kind of reminds me of that mohawk thing that Candy had initially. Do y'all remember that? When one season Candy had this mohawk hair? I didn't like it. I don't like it. I mean, it's like it's artsy, but it's not soft and it's not pretty. I mean, look at Porsha. Baby hair is just laid. I don't like it. I don't like the haircut. I don't like it. I think if she's gonna do short, it should just be like Pixie short. Pixie would be super cute on her, or just get some go naked hair. Which I'm not here encouraging women to get to wear fake hair, but I ain't convinced. I don't. This is not. This is probably a quick weave because nobody's natural hair wants to do that. Doesn't want to do that. It's probably a quick weave. I don't like it. I don't like it, guys. Y'all let me know. Hey, you there, and I do not like it. Do not like it. Yeah, I don't like Keisha K. I don't like Keisha K's hair ever. That interview that she just did with Carlos King, the baby hair wig, I don't like it. But hey, we have two different audiences. She is a rapper's wife, so that's what they like. But I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, I didn't like this cast. I thought season 16 really was kind of a bust. I would have liked for them to have kept Kenya on. I think trading Kenya out for Britt was a huge mistake. Kenya's just classic, man. I just think you should not have let Kenya go for Britt. Speaking of Kenya came out and is doing a little bit of talking now. After she left the show, she was talking about she, was still getting paid by Bravo and that she would be back really soon. I think Kenya thought that she was going back for season 17. That's what I think she thought. It turns out she's not. It turns out that she just learned that she's not coming back for season 17. They'll probably bring her back later, but she's not coming back for season 17, adding additional insult to that injury of her, being kicked off. But yeah, I agree. Kenya is classic. And I'll take Kenya over Cynthia any day. Speaking of Cynthia, Kenya came on, got on her live and started spilling some tea. Basically, she said that what Cynthia said about their friendship was not true. Cynthia said that she had not spoken to Kenya since the debacle that happened at her Kenya Moore hair care salon. Um, and Kenya says that that's not why they haven't spoken, because Cynthia said that she could not condone Kenya's actions and she holds her friends accountable. And she said that she tried to reach out to Kenya. Kenya doesn't answer her phone calls. And so she had to leave it be. Kenya said that it's not necessarily true. She said that she found out that Cynthia had betrayed her trust, and for her own benefit, it was not in support of her. And that betrayal is why she is no longer talking to Cynthia. She said Cynthia needs to keep her name out of her mouth. And another thing she said is that she is fine if everybody around her is against her, and all she has on her team is herself and Brooklyn Daly, her daughter. And I felt that. Sometimes, I always tell my daughter that a daughter is God's version of a built-in best friend. My daughter is definitely my built-in best friend. And I feel like I get that energy from Kenya and Brooklyn. And sometimes everybody around you will turn their back on you, except your children. And I think that mother-daughter relationship is so special, that I would be fine if everybody, because sometimes it can feel like the world is, but I think my daughter always has my back. So I get it. And I can feel Kenya on that. Dawn says Kenya probably can't come back until the Brit lawsuit is cleared up. Possibly. That could definitely be an issue. That could be an issue, because Brit's suing Bravo and everybody, and will definitely lose. Hey, you there says bad when your child is your only friend. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, my grandmother used to say, if you have one real friend, you are lucky, because most people don't have real friends. They have a lot of associates, but that real friend thing, that's a very rare thing. And of course, these women on reality shows, it's not about real friendship. A lot of them are just trying to be cool with whoever's the most popular. Do we think that Porsha and Phaedra have a genuine sisterhood, or do we think that it's a good look? I don't necessarily think that most of these relationships are genuine. But anyway, Kenya said that in addition to her not coming back, there were two more new wives being added to the cast. I believe that Angela Oakley will come back. So far, we're led to believe that Kelly will come back. But there are two new women being added that are very well known. And I'm shocked, actually. I'm shocked by one of them in particular. And I would love to hear what you guys think about this. So the first one is a person who was no stranger to reality TV or scripted television. And that is this lady right here, K. Michelle. That is who Kenya suggests is coming. That hasn't been confirmed. K. Michelle hasn't confirmed it. That is shocking to me, because K. Michelle has done Love and Hip Hop. She also had this show on plastic surgery that aired, I think it was on Lifetime, where she would go and talk to young women that had plastic surgery, because she had a lot of plastic surgery herself. And, she had gotten some of her procedures reversed. And so in this show, she would go have conversation with women that had the same or similar experience. They needed to have something corrected that was done wrong. And I don't know, it's just crazy, because she still has a lot of plastic surgery. So it's like she's on here talking about how to fix it, but she's still, this does not look like K. Michelle. And I met K. Michelle, like 2005, before she had a deal. She was signed to Mace, actually, at the time, which is crazy. And she was doing music. She could sing. She can sing. Like, I remember some of her demos were just crazy that she would cut at the studio. But this is how she looks when she went on the show. This is not how she looks. She looks good, but it's kind of weird to go on a show where people are regretting plastic surgery um, procedures and you look like one walking plastic surgery procedure. Interestingly, so she did that show, and then also K Michelle did Queen's Court. So she's done Love and Hip Hop. Ooh, she's shaking the table. Y'all remember that? She's shaking the table. That was hilarious. And then she did, she's at her other show. She's also been in some movies. She can act, pretty good. I mean, she's believable. She's on a couple of Lifetime, those single female movies on Lifetime. And so I'm just shocked that they would bring her just because of the Love and Hip Hop. That's weird. I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but this is what Kenya says. So, I trust Kenya, but that's just very strange. Hey, you there says there's a video from her Delta probate. She looked the same as her previous face. She did not look like this. I promise you. Because I knew her. But she's a pretty girl, but she just didn't look like this. This is a lot of plastic surgery. So if they do bring her, it'll be interesting. One thing we know about K Michelle, she has a very spicy mouth. She's going to give you some things to laugh at. She's definitely going to provide some humor. She's quick with it. And she's a spitfire, and she's tiny. So Kelly would have another little tiny spitfire with a lot of attitude. That would be interesting. But it's just weird, like I said, because of the other stuff. For some reason, Lifetime is the channel that a lot of these reality stars have, get a chance to be on, because I know Porsha was on that same show, the same movie, Single Black Female with Raven Goodwin. And Porsha, I didn't believe her. I didn't believe her as much. K Michelle does a good job as the best friend. And I've seen her do a few other little things, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. You guys let me know if you think that K Michelle will do a good job on the Housewives. It's definitely but with this Housewives, it could be okay. Like the initial Housewives, it feels like it's not a good fit, but for this one, yeah, okay. Because I mean, it's just giving lower class. Does she still reside in TV? I don't think so. I think she lives here. I know she had a restaurant here called Puff and Pebbles. I think that closed down, but I think she may have another one now. Interestingly enough, the second person is Pinky Cole. Now, for those of you, I love her dress. For those of you that don't know who she is, Pinky Cole is a big figurehead here in Atlanta, especially, but even beyond that, because she had this restaurant titled Slutty Vegan, and she got a lot of press about it, a lot of press, some good, some bad, some in the middle, but it was a lot of press. And she's like one of the most successful. She had like a Jet magazine cover before Jet went out of business. She's got a lot of press. She's been able to generate a lot of press around Slutty Vegan and her being the CEO. She had a book that came out. She did a tour where she took the book around and did conversations with influencers called American Sash. So she's really a big influencer and tastemaker, even if maybe not a public figurehead, but actually she could be, because I think she was even on the cover of Ebony with her and her husband, who owns the Philly's Dave's cheesesteaks. So they have 3 children, and they are this successful couple. I just saw he did a podcast with Tyler Perry recently. Tyler Perry and maybe Jeezy and a few other people. It's a men's podcast, and her husband was one of the guys that was on the panel talking. Pinky has had some controversial things happen. Most recently, she lost Slutty Vegan and then gained it back, and then talked about it, and then shut it down, and then opened a new restaurant that is Hoagie's. And then she went on live and talked about this car that she had. I think it was a Bentley, and the Bentley or Rolls Royce, one of them. And the car, a tree branch or a rock or something hit it while she was driving. So she had to take it to the shop and get it fixed. And it cost her $20,000. And at the point that she's telling everyone about this, She is having the grand opening for the hoagie restaurant, pulls up in the front in the car that costs all this alleged extra money, and the car is she leaves the keys in the car, a little suspect, and the car gets robbed, of course. Yeah. Dave's cheesesteaks. It is. I don't know how many stores he has, but I do know that there are more places than just one. And for a while, Slutty Vegan had a few restaurants. I know there was one in Tulsa. There's one, I believe, in Texas. There was one in the AU Center. That one is no longer there. I think a lot of them have closed down. And now she opened this new hoagie spot. She's a serial entrepreneur, but I think she has some spicy life as well. She used to be a TV producer, so she knows she will know what to give. And she's got the children. See, I guess it would be good to see more housewiving on the Housewives, because if Shamea's husband is not going to be a part of the show, and Charles Oakley is not going to play ball, no pun intended, he's not going to give, the typical housewife and husband experience. He's just not. That's not what Charles is going to do. So we need somebody that's going to show us the interaction between a husband and wife. We don't have that. And so I could see how Pinky could fit that. But then I don't know. And I'm also tempted to think, like, with the businesses, that's probably going to be great for her business. Like, if you have a restaurant, coincidentally, since Candy's been off this past season of Housewives, her restaurants have closed down. Interesting, right? I don't know if both old lady gangs have closed down. I know one and another steakhouse. And allegedly, they closed down because of lack of payment. And it's interesting. But I know while she was on the show, that was a lot of tourists would come to town. Most people that went to Olay Gang were tourists. And because as a local, the service was hit or miss. And I love Candy. You guys know that. The customer service and the food was hit or miss. But whenever you would go, it would be packed because people come in town. They want to go to Old Lady Gang because they saw it on TV and they want to feel like they had a piece of that. But I believe that Slutty Vegan is closed, but she has this new restaurant and she did a whole bunch of press. This is Pinky. She did a lot of press talking about how she had lost the business because she wasn't paying attention, and she had trusted people that she shouldn't have trusted. And it made for a great PR run because, she got a chance to talk about it, right? Most people go out of business. They don't get a chance to come online and make excuses. And well, not even come online. She did television, did a lot of podcasts, and there were a lot of articles written. You guys can look her up, Pinky Cole, Cole. And let me know if you think that she'll be a great addition. Like I said, the traditional value of the actual husband and wife both working in the same industry and having these small kids, I think that could be cool, because we don't really see Drew with her children because her marriage was so toxic. We see Kelly, but I don't like it. We see Kelly. I mean, her buying a daughter 17 designer bags just totally turned me off from her. I just want to see some real parenting and real, husband and wife interaction. We're not going to get it from Shamea with the husband. We do see her with her daughters. It is a little bit more realistic, but yes. Hey, you there says they shouldn't have opened multiple locations. They opened a lot of locations really, really quickly. Really quickly. Like in 2 years, there was like 10 locations. It felt like it was really fast. And I was not surprised to hear that they had gone out of business. And there were accusations of people not being paid. I do know someone personally that was taken advantage of working for them. So working for Slutty Vegan, so not Dave's Cheesesteak. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't really see her outside of the traditional family. I don't really know how she would gel with the other girls, because these girls are more like glamorous, and she may try to do that for the show. I don't know that it will stick. I don't know. So let me know what you think. Do you think that K. Michelle and Pinky Cole are great additions to the show. Now, remember, if they start filming, but the film doesn't give what producers want it to, we may never see that. But the fact that Kenya, said that means that there must be some interest in, or there's something to Pinky being on the show and K Michelle. We don't know if they're going to make it the full way. I know one thing. I feel like if K Michelle tapes, she'll make it to the end of the season. She'll make it to the reunion, and it'll definitely be fun. Now, it may be ghetto and trifling, but it'll be fun. K Michelle there, it'll be fun, and we'll laugh. And sometimes that's all we need to do when it comes to the Housewives is laugh. So you guys, let me know what you think of those two additions. Are you here for Pinky? Are you here for K Michelle? Are you upset like me that Kenya's not coming back? I would have taken Kenya by herself over Pinky and K Michelle. I just don't think K Michelle belongs on Real Housewives. I actually like her as an actress and doing her country music, but maybe she's looking for an opportunity to promote her country music even more. I don't really believe that well, let me not say that, but I know country people are probably like totally just in shock of what's happening to their genre. First, Beyonce has everybody with melanin in their skin claiming to love the Western lifestyle, and then K Michelle is determined to become a best-selling country singer. And neither one of them makes songs that really match country music. They don't. I mean, K Michelle probably does more so because she does tell stories with her songs, and it's always about love, and it's always her being a jilted lover. But I don't really think that she's gonna I can't see her doing what Shania Twain does. I'm a fan of the Chicks and Shania Twain and Tanner Adele, and I don't really see K Michelle fitting that. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about her or Pinky, and if you're upset about Kenya not coming back next season as I. And then are y'all trying to see Kelly next season? Are y'all cool with that? No, she opened up another location for her Nana's Chicken and Waffles. I still need to go over there and interview her. But I don't trust Kelly with that husband. That husband story doesn't make sense to me. And have you guys seen the husband? Ooh, I should have brought a picture. You know what? Let me do that real fast because I just need y'all to see. I need y'all to see this so you'll understand what I mean when I say I don't trust this. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. This husband. Yeah, I need y'all to see it. I need y'all to see it. I need y'all to understand it. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get it. Geez Louise. My God. Let's see this husband. Now, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. And some people are probably going to say I'm being mean. And I'm not. But I do think that there are a lot of women that marry men for the look. And I think sometimes you can tell when you see who they married, where their mind was. And I say that to say, when I look at this picture of Kelly and her husband, this early picture, this is like 13 years ago, because they were married, I think 12, so it may even be 14 years ago. And then this is a up-to-date picture of him that is right next to it. I just don't believe this was a marriage born in love. I believe this was a marriage born in convenience. And this was a marriage born in what he can do for me. Y'all let me know. Now, you know how little Kelly is. Y'all know how little Kelly is. She's like barely 5 feet. Y'all see that? Y'all see the husband? Y'all see that? You see the contrast to height to weight. I mean, not height to weight, but you see the contrast of the height and the fact that there's not much of a contrast. It's not contrasting. It's not contrasting. at all. Yeah, I just cannot believe that that was a marriage born in anything but convenience and the fact that she wanted, um, what she wanted. And I hope she got it. But now she's, of course, divorced or divorcing on the road to divorce. Um, yeah, not the LeBron hairline. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And that's early on. So um, you got to remember that's early on. And he is um, suing her. They're going back and forth. But mm, mm, I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But anyway, that is my review. I'm going to give the reunion. It just wasn't as interesting to me this season. I think season 16 sucked. I think that, and the reunion was equally disappointing. I don't feel like we got to the bottom of anything. I don't think anybody really took accountability for anything. Um, I didn't really enjoy it that much. So I'm going to give it a 6. And I would have said a 5, but I'm going to say a 6 because of the fashions. Now, I will say this, like I said, if K. Michelle and Pinky come on, then it's going to be interesting, at least with K. Michelle. I don't know about Pinky, but K. Michelle is definitely going to have everybody in stitches. So even if it doesn't really fit, I think she'll definitely have everybody in stitches. So, maybe that's what we need. It just felt like weird choices for Real Housewives. It feels like we're moving in the wrong direction, in my opinion. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a person that has a YouTube channel that's doing a scripted series. I don't want to do reality TV. I'm definitely all for scripted series and things that are actually like, positive and have a little bit of balance. But Real Housewives doesn't have any balance. And it's this point, Real Housewives of Atlanta is a joke. So hopefully they can breathe some life into season 17. I will keep you guys posted on if we do get a confirmation on K. Michelle and Pinky. But as of right now, we don't know. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure that you like this and let me know what you would rate the 3 episodes of season 16 reunion. If you were all about it or if you could have done without it, let me know. And for those of you that have some time, I will see you at 10 o'clock for the King's Court episode 3 review right here. That is Tyson and Carlos. We're going to get into it, talk about what happened last night, and it's going to be a good conversation. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And then, of course, on Wednesday, Mo and I will be back with Dating Diaries. We have some updates. All right. I love you guys for watching. Make sure you like this. Make sure you let me know what you would rate this season or the reunion of the Housewives. And I'll see you guys later. All right. See you at 10.